guys. Today I'm going to be joined by Luke Trainer. He'll be fighting at Bellator Milan on Saturday night. This is his first Bellator fight, and I wanted to catch up with him beforehand to see how training's going and if he's ready for his, Bellator debut. He's a really fun guy, really nice, and I hope you guys enjoy the interview. And as always, if you could please subscribe to the channel. I'm starting to grow more and more interviews, so I hope you guys enjoy them. Thanks.
There you go. What's happening?
Not much. How you doing?
I am good, thank you. Life is good right now. I'm locked down, but I'm all good.
Nice. How's fight week going so far?
Yeah, it's cool. It's all right. I had my last workout today. Had the last training session today. My weight is perfect. I've just gone out for the first walk outside in some fresh air since I've been here. But yeah, everything's good. I can't complain. I'm just gonna draw these curtains a little bit. I feel like I can't properly see you. Sorry. There you go. That's better. Yeah. So yeah, it's all good. I've like I said, went out today for the first time ever. Chilled out. To be fair, this is my first time on the big stage, so everything's new to me. So everything that's happening, from getting picked up by a car with someone holding my name on it to someone sending me food to my room, is everything is like, oh wow, okay, I guess I'm like Brad Pitt now. So so yeah, it's cool. I'm just loving every minute, to be fair. But yeah, I'm excited.
You had to stay in quarantine for a while. How did it go? Did you have to quarantine before you traveled there and then after again, or just when you got there?
No, so basically they advised us once they told me that I had the fight, they advised us to stay in a bubble. They said, listen, do it on your own accord, but just know that if you test positive for COVID once you get here, you're not going to fight and you won't get paid. So be smart, basically. So I did exactly that. I tried to stay within my bubble as much as I could, and which I've been doing basically anyway. Being in London, we had to lock down pretty much. So yeah, and then once I'm here, now I've got a quarantine for the week, and I can only stay in the bubble of my corner team and everyone else who's got their corona tests. Everyone who's had their brain scratched by that flipping stick up their nose, they're my people now. So yeah, and then when I get back, I have no idea. They can try and tell me I've got to stay locked down, but I'm going to go out and eat regardless if I'm on my own or with a squad. So yeah, that's the quarantine situation.
Yeah. Well, you're in the middle, I guess, of your fight week, right? You're fighting on Saturday. So what's like the best part of fight week, and what's the worst part?
Ooh. Oh, that's easy. The worst part of fight. All right, that maybe not so easy. It's a juggle between the two. The worst part for me is the waiting. Once I'm in camp, that sort of 12 to 6, wherever I start my camp, that 12 to 6 week lead up to fight night, while I'm training every day, 2-3 times a day, I'm eating, I'm staying religious with everything. That's easy for me because I've got such a strong regiment in my mind. I'm like, all right, cool. I just need to do A, B, and C every single day without fail, and I'm good to go. And I've got structure. Now, especially doing it like this, where I'm locked in a hotel room, and I don't really have other options. I'm not complaining, but it just throws a bit of a spanner in my works. Now it's like this whole waiting game where I'm ready to go. I was ready to go 2 weeks ago. Now I'm more ready. I've peaked, but I still have to wait a week. And, I know the guys are a few rooms down, and all I want to do is go smash, but I can't go smash yet. So that would be the hardest thing for me. And then the second hardest is the weight cut. But like I said, to be fair, this is the most simple weight cut I've ever had to date. This is don't want to say the easiest, because it's still been hard and it's still taken me a ton of discipline with my diet, but this has been the most simple, 100%. So those would be the two worst. The best thing about fight week for this week is, and like I said, everything new is a highlight for me. So getting picked up, like my pops has come with me, right? I've brought my dad out with me. And normally he's driving me to the venue for weigh-ins, driving me to the venue for the fight. And it's normally a venue where we're in like a sticky floor strip club, and we have to like, not look at anyone in the eyes, or we're going to get glassed. Like it's normally in weird spots. So getting to take my dad on a plane to Italy, and that was a highlight. And then having it all paid for him, that was a highlight. And then someone picked us up in like a nice Mercedes car. That was like, so do you know what I mean? Everything. And like, so bringing, even though the food to the hotel's been pretty small portions and he's been a little bit of a whiny wine about it, it's still like, yo, Dad, I got your meals covered. Don't worry. It might only be one chicken breast and a carrot, but enjoy that. That's courtesy of Bellator. So this fight week's just been a blessing. Every single day we've had a different experience. This is by far the nicest hotel I've ever stayed in. Normally I'm used to like hostels or, Airbnbs and all that jazz. Now I'm in a Hilton. I'm like, what? trying not to flex on the ground. But yeah, it's so fight week's been phenomenal for me, this one.
That's so cool to hear. Can you talk a little bit about like the road that took you to get to Bellator? Like I know your last outing, you had to win 3 fights in a row the same night, right? That must have been crazy. And so talk a little bit about going from like something like that to like now being in Bellator.
Yeah, for sure. So the tournament was on a show called EFN. It was run by John Kavanagh, the head coach of SBG over in Ireland. It was an awesome show. I got the call if I wanted to have a fight. We had something in the books, and then this opportunity come up. At first, my previous manager said, listen, we got an opportunity for you. It's a big one, so just be prepared. It's weird, but it's a big one. And he gave me a call. And he said, yeah, you got to fight 3 guys in one night, and we don't know who you're going to be fighting yet, and you can't control the draw at all, and you might be fighting one of your teammates, and you might also be fighting a previous guy that beat you in your amateur career, but you're going to win a great contract with Bellator. What do you reckon? And I said, coach, put me in. So it was an experience. It was the best fight night. I can't call it the fight because there was 3 of them, but it was the best fight night of my career, hands down. It was the toughest to mentally prepare for because obviously, previous to that, I had, I want to say 12 or 13 fights, amateur or professional, where I had one person. And even though I had pullouts, many of them, I still had one person to prep for. And it was a simpler game plan. Going into this, I had to completely switch the game plan up, and I had to kind of keep the same savage mentality, but just tweak it a little bit. So it was dope though. I had 3 fights in one night. The strategy went perfect. The game plan was executed to the T. I couldn't have wished it to go any better. It was an awesome opportunity. And obviously I landed a great contract with Bellator. And that put me on kind of, the world stage right now. So yeah, it was great. And then obviously Rona come over and was like, hold your horses, B. We're not done yet. So yeah, I had a couple fights booked. One in Wembley in London, my hometown. So that was not my home. I'm from Stevenage, but basically London. So fighting in Wembley, that was like, wow, all right, this is going to be my debut. This is a dream. That got cancelled. Then I got booked for a different show. That got cancelled. Then I got booked for an LA show. That got cancelled. So I was like, all right, cool. 3 fights I should have had already hadn't happened, but I stayed on the course. I just stayed training, stayed on my diet, haven't eaten sugar since bloody Boxing Day. And it's paid off. God willing, I got the opportunity. So they gave me the call, and I I apologize. 1 second, decline. That was my friend. That was my friend trying to call me. Sorry, I don't know how I can put my phone on something so it doesn't get interrupted again. But I don't think he'll call me back. So apologies about that. So it was a great opportunity, and now we're here. So it was cool. I had to kind of go through a little bit of fire to get here, which makes it all sweeter. And fight day's a few days away, and I get to show my skills on the world stage. I'm buzzing.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you about the long layoff because you just mentioned that you had a couple fights that were canceled. But how do you kept your motivation through that? And then I'm sure you were probably in lockdown or whatever. Was your gym closed at all during that time?
Yeah. So my gym was closed from the beginning of March until I want to say late July. My coach and my main training partner, Stuart Austin, we were still getting together all the way through lockdown, getting working. Just we've my whole team have got a solid bond, but me and Stu have kind of been main training partners for the last 2 years. So it's nice to have that kind of Kane DC relationship with him, where it was like, oh, dope, we don't need a whole team right now because we just need to keep it ticking over. So I had someone to train with, and then one of my friends, Jason, he opened up his gym or opened up a gym just to the pros. So we still got some work down. That was like a 2.5 hour drive for me. So every day that was a bit long, but we got it done. And then my gym opened up the last, I think I want to say like 4 to 6 weeks. So believe it or not, even with lockdown, I believe this has been the best camp of my career. My team, Titan Fighter, this is the strongest it's ever been for me. We had a bit of a change up with coaches and teammates and a bit of drama in the gym and all that jazz over the last year, but it's all settled down now. And the big guys at the gym, you know, anywhere from middleweight to heavyweight, we've got a solid group of 8 to 10 guys, and they're consistently in. And we've just got a squad of savages now, so it's nice. It makes for a great camp. The energy in the gym is perfect. So honestly, this camp has gone phenomenal. I've only had a few injuries and nothing major. Compare that to the last one where I flipping tore my tendons, I dislocated my knee twice. Like I just had a bit of a rough one. This one, only like a couple not so bad ones. So yeah, the prep's been phenomenal, and motivation wise, like I knew it was going to happen. Listen, I'm a man of faith, and I know I have to stay the course. If you know, I'm not trying to sound too corny, but you're gonna have hurdles, and it is what it is. And I feel like that's the test. So greatness doesn't come easy. You know, you just got to stay on it. When you get all knocked down and all that jazz, you got to get up. I put the Rocky Balboa music on and just, but yeah. So I just kept motivating myself. I knew an opportunity would come along. Luckily, Bellator gracefully reached out to me, and I took the opportunity with open arms.
Nice. Do you do any work outside of training, or are you just full-time training?
Yeah, I do actually. This is the part where I lose any potential fans. So I'm a nanny. I'm a nanny outside of this. A nanny on the weekends and some days during the week. That pays the bills. I work with foster children, myself and my family, foster children, and I work with kids in care in general throughout the social care system. And then I work in schools as a mentor to vulnerable children or children with severe learning difficulties or behavioural issues. Yeah, and then my side hustles or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that takes up all of the time that I'm not in the gym. That takes up the rest of it. So yeah, it's cool. It's all right. I'm like Nanny McPhee, but I'll give you that smoke as well. That's all right.
Yeah, I understand the time commitment. I mean, I have 2 kids, and when I'm not doing like MMA media stuff, I substitute teach at a special education preschool. So I'm like kind of like the same boat as you. So like I know that takes up a lot of your time, and you must have like good organizational skills to like be able to do all that and then get your training in. So that's awesome.
I don't know if you feel the same, but it feels like helping the ones that need it the most. It's almost like a selfish thing where it's like, oh, like you get all the great karma. Like you get such a nice feeling. Like I'm sure when you work in the schools, you get after a day's graft, you come home and you're like, oh, that was good. So and so learned this today, or and you get a general like just a positive vibe. So I think for me, it's like MMA is such a selfish sport, and to live that lifestyle and to be successful in it, I know I have to be super selfish. So then to be able to give back with the spare time, I feel like I'm kind of balancing it out, and hopefully the good Lord sees that and puts me in heaven still. But yeah, so it's just a beautiful thing to give a little back. But that's dope.
That's awesome. And I see that you do a lot of stuff with charities, that you mentioned a couple, but can you just like the one that you just put up recently, can you just mention a little bit about that?
Safer places. All right, yeah, no drama. There are some beautiful people down there. The one I did some work with just recently, they're in Stevenage, in my local town. There's a bunch of them in Hertfordshire, which is my county. They're a women's refuge for women and children who need to escape domestic abuse. And yeah, they provide shelter, safety, food, education. They help people getting into work with social benefits. And it's awesome. It's the one in Stevenage is run by one beautiful woman. She's there right now. She's there all on her own because of Rona. She works every single day. Yeah, she gives all of her time. So yeah, I went after doing a little bit there, I come home and I was like, dang, Luke, you need to do better. So yeah, I posted it up there, and some lovely people from social media are now donating and trying to volunteer. But yeah, that's Safer Places, and it's a beautiful cause. There's loads of charities that you can work with, and I think that's part of. Sometimes that can be an issue because there's so many charities that people just kind of just they can't connect, or they don't feel a connection with anyone. So yeah, if anyone out there in Hertfordshire or in Stevenage, you're looking to help and you're looking to give something back, either contact me or directly contact saferplaces.co.uk, and you can either volunteer or donate. Yeah, them humans are good humans. Yeah, they're phenomenal people.
That's great. And even like having people like you who have like a social media following, just explaining like what they do, because a lot of people won't take the time to like research like which organization does what. Like if just having the time to you putting it up there and explaining to everybody, and they're like, oh yeah, that sounds great, and then they'll like help out. That's really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to your MMA training. When did you first start training for mixed martial arts?
A couple of weeks before I was 18. So I'm 24 now. So what's that? 6 years. Shout out to my maths teacher. See how quick I did that. But yeah. So about 6 years now. I had my first amateur fight when I was 19. Yeah, I always wanted to do martial arts. My dad from a young age always loved fighting. He was a little bit of a naughty boy back in the day, and then he joined the army and boxed in the army and found his discipline. And from when I could remember, my mum's going to watch this. She already knows, but she doesn't like me telling the story. I remember when I was about 7, my dad would let me watch Jean-Claude Van Damme movies that no 7-year-old should be watching. And like my dad brought me up loving martial arts, and then the Ninja Turtles found me and I found them. And ever since then I was hooked. So I did rugby for a little bit. I tore my meniscus. And then during the rehab, one of my friends said, oh, like I'm going to this. It was like a box fit class / wrestling. It was a bit of a weird one. And he said, do you want to come along with me? You don't have to go too hard. It's just a little bit of different fitness training. This was when I was 17. I was like, yeah, cool. I'll give it a go. And it was strange because someone was, the whole grappling for the first time can be a little bit awkward. It's super intimate. So I did that, and then I fell in love with it. That not with the guys, with the martial arts, but yeah, I was hooked right away. So I quit rugby, and I just threw everything into it. I got really serious when I turned 19. I quit university because of it. I did everything I can, and I could at that time, and then and now I'm here. Bellator, baby, what?
Did you have any outside training that you tried like during lockdown? Like maybe when you couldn't get in the gym, did you incorporate anything else into your training, like yoga or biking or anything like that?
I started running. I realized that I'm not built for running. My knees, the same knee that I tore way back when. I started running, and about a week I was feeling it, and then a week had passed, and I was like, oh, my knee's feeling a bit funky. 2 weeks later, I was running and limping, and I thought, it's normal. And then my friend was like, maybe you're just not built for road running, like 110 kilos, and let's relax. So I started that, and that stopped after about 3 weeks. For this camp, I've focused a ton on the mental aspect. I focused a ton on meditation, a lot of stuff just on visualization and just preparing myself mentally. Physically, I know how to peak my body now. Physically, I have so many coaches around me, from S&C to boxing to kickboxing, wrestling, my head coach. But I don't have anyone trying to install knowledge into my brain and help me prep that. And I've always heard, you've got GSP in the back there. He's one of the biggest proponents of, just sharpen that tool. People always say it's 90% mental and 10% whatever. So it's so for this camp specifically, I spent a lot of time prepping my mental, which I feel like Corona probably helped because I couldn't do a lot elsewhere. So I could do that from the comfort of my own home or go in my garden and do all that jazz. So in terms of training, I'd say the biggest change was working on my mental.
Well, you're definitely a positive person. On your social media, you're always posting like these motivational things and everything. And anyone who's watching this, if they want to like follow you, I think that's like you're up there with the top motivational guys. I like all your like spunky videos.
You say motivational, I say goofy and silly. Either way, it's cool. It's yeah, it's all right. I get some people now and then message me and they say I made them smile today. And listen, that's the goal. Make someone smile each and every day, and you're doing the Lord's work. So yeah. Listen, it passes some time. Don't know if you saw the cooking show, but that's obviously my new calling. But yeah, so it's social media is a weird world. I'm just trying to navigate it as happily as I can.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the cooking show. Is that like a hobby of yours, or it's just for fun?
Do you know what? I love cooking. And my management team, Paradigm, they were asking me like, oh, is there anything else you like to do that maybe you could share with your fans, supporters, whatever you want to call it? I said, I mean, I have hobbies outside, and I listed some of them, and I said I love to cook. I'm not great at it. I'm not trying to be Gordon Ramsay out here, but I love to cook. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's maybe record your next cooking thing, like just show the ingredients and like tell them how you did it. And I took that and thought, right, let me run with that. So cooking with the gent, 10 episodes deep now. I took a little bit of a break from about 3 weeks out from the fight, just because I try and take breaks off of social media the closer we get to the fight. So anything that takes a little more effort, I just put to the back line. But
you're weight cutting too, so what are you cooking? Boring chicken?
Yeah, exactly. You want to see me boil broccoli? I can do that for you. But yeah, no. So after this fight, once I smash this guy, do my thing. Next week is cheat week. So next week, all these healthy meals. Don't expect that. Let's get some sugar back in our bellies. But yeah, it's going to be thick boy for the next week or two, and then yeah. So the cooking show is going to start, I guess, from next week. So tune in if you want to kind of learn something or not.
So a little bit about the fight on Saturday. What do you know about your opponent so far, and like what do you think that's going to be coming with the outcome of the fight?
So my opponent is Alex O'Toole. He's from a gym called Shore Grip, I believe, in Southend-on-Sea, I think. I know nothing about the gym. I know nothing about where he's from. His record is 4-1-1, I want to say, something like that. The fights on YouTube that I've been able to see, there's only 2 or 3, and they're from around 2 years ago. So it's tricky preparing for someone. I know there's loads of different trains of thought. I personally love to watch my opponents. I like to study my opponents. I've become a little bit of a flipping serial killer, thirsty chick, whatever. Like I like to really get them into my head and focus and visualize and know what their weaknesses are, know what their strengths are. When you're studying your opponent, and his last fight was around 2 years ago, and the fights that he had isn't necessarily against high level competition, it's tricky to game plan. So I know he's got pretty explosive wrestling. I know he's got a good overhand. I know he's got good jits. I haven't seen too much of his striking, and he hasn't fought, from what I know, he hasn't fought in 2 years. So I'm expecting that for the last 2 years, he's been in Russia and Thailand studying wrestling and Muay Thai, and he's boxed over at Kronk in New York. Like I'm expecting the worst. I'm thinking, cool, he's been focused, sharpening the sword, he's ready to go, and I'm ready for that opponent. We're gonna see what's happening. So yeah, it's been a bit of it's the visualization and all that stuff and getting ready. It's been different. I've done it now, and I've got a solid game plan in my head, and I know how I'm going to execute that. And my outcome is I will smash him. That is my sole belief. It's MMA, so the better man is going to win. If it's him, then God willing, it's him. If it's me, then it's me. But I believe I will smash him, and whether that comes from knockout, TKO, submission, or decision, we will see where the cards lie. But yeah, I've done a ton of prep. I've got his. I can send you a picture. His face is on my lock screen, and his name's been on my whiteboard in my bedroom for the past 3-4 months, because we were supposed to fight back in Wembley. So yeah, he's been in my head this whole time. So when I'm ready to go, we're gonna get it.
Nice. That's like Rocky 4 style when he's like got Drago on the mirror.
There you go.
Did you have any worries about there being no fans in the stands at all? Like it's going to be so quiet in there. Did you think about that at all?
I thought about it. Worries, no. No. Again, I don't know what to expect. So it's either going to be great or it's not. I personally I've only ever fought with fans, and some of the shows have had 100 people in there. Some of the shows have had 1,000. Like I've never fought in front of any crazy crowds. I normally bring a ton of energy. I've got a lot of support back home, a lot of love from my friends and family. So I normally, it's a loud crowd when I walk out. The fact that I won't have that, I don't think is going to bother me. It's at the end of the day, it's a fist fight. So the crowd is great, but I'm going in there for war, regardless if they're there or not. I know my mom is normally in the crowd. I know my sister's normally in my crowd, and my dad's behind me. They're the people that I care about most in this world. Everyone else, I love them to pieces, but it doesn't matter. And then my mum's and sister are at home watching. My dad's still here. It's all good. Like, I'm going in there. I like to kind of do this fight game with a samurai mentality. It's war. We're getting it. We've got a mission to do. We're going to execute and get out. So whether there's a crowd or no crowd, it's not going to faze me. I don't believe. I might get there and think, no, where's all my people? And then break down. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, now that Bellator is back in the business of putting on fights, how soon do you want to fight? I know that they are doing most of their stuff in Connecticut because that's actually like right by me. I'm in New York. So I don't know how the traveling will work with if you'll be able to come to the United States or not. But like, how often would you want to fight if they're holding more events in Europe, or if you can even come here?
As often as they'd let me. I feel like everyone, and listen, I'm not looking past this guy. I'm not looking to plan any fights past this guy. I'm not doing the Kamza approach right now. But if you was to pick an approach, it'd be that. I wanna put food on my table. I wanna, start to build I want to get paid basically, and I want to start building my legacy. I'm 24 now, and even at 24, I know some people may say that's quite young. I'm looking at other athletes in this sport, other fighters around me, and they've done more things with their career at 24 than I have. So in my mind, I'm behind in the race. So I'm ready to get going. So I smashed this guy. I come away, God willing, no injuries. I'm ready to go again. Yeah, I've got plans to move to heavyweight. I've got plans to move to stay at light heavyweight. I've got a good frame. I'm ready to go. Like I stay in shape. This next week I'm gonna cheat on my diet, but I'm gonna put on a few kilos and I'm good to go. Like I said, this is not me looking past this opponent at all. I might come away from this with I might die in this fight. You don't know. So it is what it is. If I don't, and God willing I win, and the game plan goes to wherever it goes, then Bellator want to put me on the Paris card. That's in 3 weeks. Dope. I think there's another Italian card next week. Dope. I'm ready to go, and I'm young and I want to get going. So yeah, we'll see. I need to make a statement though. This is my first fight. So I need to show Bellator that I'm worth what they're paying me. I need to show them that I'm here and I'm serious in the division and I'm a threat to everyone. So once I do that, we'll see where they want to put me next. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm dead excited. We're getting it.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for the time. I don't really have any more questions, but I just appreciate you coming on here with me, and best of luck on Saturday.
But yeah, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate the time.